Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a good week and you had a little time to catch up with things. If you haven't yet sent me your your topic for your a research paper and had my feedback on it, please do that. And then this week there's also a request, once you've done that, to put it on the message board so that we can have threads for everyone's topics. So that way, if you come across something in your reading, you'll be able to refer another classmate to it, or even offer assistance or some ideas. We like to do as much collaboration as possible in this kind of a context. So the focus this week is on the Liturgy of the Hours and the liturgical year. And your readings have taken you really back in time to the popes trying to focus attention, first of all, on the Liturgy of the Hours. One of the emphasis in it is to try to get that responsibility of praying the hours for those who are required to do it as close to the actual time of the hour as possible, so that you're not praying morning prayer at close to midnight just to get it in. But that was kind of the concept in the olden days, that if you were responsible to pray the Liturgy of the Hours, and generally the priests and monastics were the ones who were generally charged with that responsibility, that they just did it at any time of the day just to get it in, so that it was more of a legalistic thing rather than kind of a spiritual attachment to praying morning prayer in the morning. I'm suggesting that once you read the Pope's ideas about the distribution of the Psalms, that you go back and then read the chapter in the Constitution on the Sacred Liturgy that brings that up to date, so that you can see what the Pope said back in the 1913, and then see what was again said by the Council Fathers, so that it takes up that theme again. And the same is true with the liturgical year, when that really began with the reorienting the Easter Vigil, that it would be celebrated as a vigil on Saturday evening instead of at Saturday morning as it was in my childhood, and then followed shortly after with the restoration of all of the Holy Week liturgies. All of that happened long before the council, but it was definitely a outgrowth of the liturgical movement, which was happening in the background at that time. In fact, the leaders thought that the restoration of the Holy Week, of the Easter Vigil, that was a surprise. It was a gift to them. They were thrilled by it. And my earliest recollections of liturgy actually are the formation for celebrating that Holy Week liturgy. I was 9 years old, and I was in the choir, and the sisters prepared us diligently for why this was happening, and they told us a lot about the history of Holy Week. But you notice that the document itself that was issued talked a lot about the history of Holy Week as well, so that it didn't come just from out of nowhere. I wish I had saved all of the books that my mother had, because there were a lot of publications about the Holy Week liturgy that were sort of guides to participation, so that people in parishes were very well prepared to celebrate these liturgies. Now, not everybody goes to Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, but many people, many active Catholics do. And I put an item on the message board for you to collect together your experience, whether your experience of celebrating the Liturgy of the Hours, whether it's privately or in community, and the same thing is true of your experience of celebrating the liturgical year. Of course, here mostly the focus is on the Holy Week liturgies, which is the highlight of the liturgical year. But please feel free not to limit yourself to that, but if there are other elements of the liturgical year that have significance to you, please include them as well. Also, I've put an item there about questions because, again, I know not everyone is from the Roman Catholic tradition, and so you might have questions that you need to ask in order to help you understand this reading a little bit better. Related to Easter is this question of what's the date of Easter? And this coming year, both the Eastern and Western churches will celebrate Easter on the same day, April 20th, but that's pretty rare. And it's, I don't want to call it an accident of history, but even though we have both the same way of dating Easter, there's the difference between using the Julian calendar and the Gregorian calendar in order to do that, and that's what constitutes the difference in the dates of Easter. I don't know, maybe we'll live into a future where all of the Christian churches can celebrate their major feast of the year on the same date. I don't know. I've been waiting for that to happen a long time. It would be nice if it happened in our lifetime. Well, I hope you enjoy these readings and that it gives you an opportunity to think more deeply about the rhythm in your own life as well as in the life of the church. You know where to find me if you have any questions. Have a good week.